Kentwood. Episode 1, Eldredge and I, by Jacob Thompson. Hello, I'm Dr. Dan Sebago, and I've taken the responsibility of telling tales of the life of Eldredge Kentwood. Until a few short years ago, Professor Kentwood taught at my university and solved cases that baffled the most seasoned investigators. If I could be said to have played even a small role in his accomplishments, I would consider it a worthy epitaph. Today, I will tell the story of how I met the good professor. It started many years ago when, as a young teacher, I committed an error of judgment and needed to rely on another young professor who was already well known for his deductive ability. I came to his office on the second floor where a student was waiting. Excuse me, is this where Dr. Kentwood...
Of course it is, you dolt. Do you suppose my name is on all of the doors?
Excuse me, Dr. Kentwood, I have a question about the lecture.
I doubt that I shall help you. I would first like to ascertain the identity of this other interloper.
I am Dr. Sebago.
Sebago shall receive my attention. You must leave.
What?
My priorities are as such. Paying clients first, followed by administrators, faculty, carnivorous animals, graduate students, herbivorous animals.
Undergrads, I get it.
No, you do not. Next is plants, and then undergraduate students.
Well, how is anybody going to pass?
I care not one fig if anyone passes my course.
That was pretty funny.
I was not joking. What do you need? My fees are still far lower than they should reasonably cost.
How do you know why I came here?
I am aware my reputation as a detective has disseminated throughout the campus. You are an English professor, and...
How did you know I taught English? I never told you.
You clearly never bothered to memorize the staff listing as I did. For God's sake, man, while I understand that relatively few can master the art of detection, this is information printed for the barely literate public in a large font.
How do you know what I wanted?
Like many of my mouth-breathing students, you have barged into my office without advance notice. Your building is on the other side of the campus, and you've no professional reason to be here. Finally, not neglecting the obvious, your face is glazed with sweat and your hands are trembling.
Very good. I think I've come to the right place.
You've come to the wrong office entirely, if you can do no better than state the obvious.
I'm a fraud. I've known it ever since...
Of course you're a fraud. And don't waste my time by asking how I deduced to this. What is your immediate crisis?
You know the saying, publish or perish?
Of course I do.
I just couldn't get inspiration for a paper. And I looked around for an obscure paper that I could be, inspired by. I found a rejected thesis paper on the influence of noir in Thomas Pynchon, written by a Sophie Mangrove, and it was off to the races. Sophie had moved on years ago. Looked like manna from heaven. Unfortunately, after I had the paper published in the Northern Saskatchewan Literature Review, Sophie Mangrove sent me a letter threatening me with exposure.
Would you mind if I offered you a suggestion?
That's what I'm here for.
It occurs to me that you are, as they say, cooked. Your paper, already published, is an obvious work of plagiarism. You would have me believe that your publication, and for that matter, your whole career, is a dirigible that can be easily punctured by a single comment of Miss Mangrove.
Yes.
In that case, the only obvious solution is to ensure that Miss Mangrove does not speak, now or ever. I know of a gentleman who is in ownership of a certain oversized freezer. Certain criminal factions have befuddled law enforcement agencies by preserving the inconvenient dead in cold storage for lengthy durations before depositing the corpus delicti. The obvious purpose is to confuse the time of death. You, however, are obliged to produce the corpus, but I can easily provide the contact.
I thought you were a detective, not a hitman. I can't play a part in this.
Silence, Professor. I was merely testing you. The reason will soon be apparent. Had you failed, you would have been led to an undercover officer and ultimately a prison cell.
It was obvious entrapment.
Perhaps for you. There are many who will sleepwalk into such traps, and it does me no good to tolerate them for long, however much they offer me. I have no use for them.
What do you mean, use? I'm the one who needs help. My career...
Silence! I am presenting a serious proposal to you now, and it will be withdrawn if not received in that spirit. You, Sebago, are a man of obvious mediocrity. You lack energy and imagination. Nevertheless, you are well-spoken, and your conversation indicates a predictability that a calendar would envy. You have no hope of becoming a first-rate man, but I believe I can mold you into becoming a first-rate tool.
How is this fixing my problem? My career is at stake. If I don't confess, she'll turn me in.
We are both novice professors, Doctor. We both teach worthless disciplines. I consider my job in so-called political science to be a mere platform from which I can pursue the art of detection to its logical ends. Until I am tenured, however, I must waste innumerable hours tending to humanoid beer receptacles. I would very much appreciate it were you to take dictation, organize my notes, perform investigative legwork, and shield me from insufficiently interesting queries. Only with such assistance can I pursue investigations on the scale that I desire.
Do you want me to do all this in lieu of a cash payment? This is starting to smell expensive.
I must inform you that if you do not agree to the terms that I just outlined, I will report you myself. I have very little tolerance for plagiarists. If you agree to my terms, I expect this matter to be resolved in a manner favorable to both yourself and Miss Mangrove.
I would obviously like an explanation.
It is rather simple. I have detected enough rampant cheating and grade inflation at this alleged university that my silence is worth an abundant number of favors. Secrets, Professor Sebago, are among the most valuable of currencies, and it would do you well to remember that. The price of adding Miss Mangrove to the faculty, regardless of qualification or lack thereof, is a great deal less than the monies lost from the potential tuition withdrawn from parents who understand what a fiasco this institution is. Granted, hiring 2 faculty to teach postmodern literature rather than 1 is as beneficial as having 2 sets of wisdom teeth.
Very funny, Professor Kentwood.
Should you agree to my terms, as I advise you to, I would hope you wait until I jest to plague me with foolish laughter. In the meantime, I wish you to think on this proposal, Daniel.
And this brings us to the present, where, for the first time in 25 years, I will speak with Dr. Sophie Mangrove. How have you done, Dr. Mangrove?
Much better than you. I teach at an Ivy League institution, and whenever I doubt myself, I have a wall full of thank you letters from kids that I inspired.
How do you feel to have reached the peak of your profession and still earn less than some 23-year-old dirtbag who barely graduated from business school?
Why should this hypothetical dirtbag bother me? He's a dirtbag. Besides, you probably earn less than me. We are in the same freaking line of work.
I don't think we are. I spent my career working for Eldredge Kentwood. There are 2 or 3 times a week I wander in front of a classroom, and that's the extent of that.
You always were the worst. Even when I just started teaching, my class was 3 times the size of yours. Word got out that you suck.
I didn't care to inspire them, torture them, or do anything else that took much time away from Dr. Kentwood. Eldredge was a very demanding person, and I agreed with him when he said that genius will always rise to the top, and the best a teacher can do is strangle mediocrities in the crib. If students could be inspired by my half-assed teaching, they deserved to presumably waste their lives tricking naive freshmen into becoming English majors.
I will say one nice thing about Kentwood. I just learned that he got me my first job. If I want to be respectful, I need to stop right now.
I'll tell you how he helped me. You were bragging earlier about how you have over 100 publications. People were so afraid of Eldredge Kentwood that nobody bothered me. I got tenure without writing a damn thing. Stealing from you was the last serious writing I ever did.
You shouldn't be proud. You should be ashamed.
He knew how the bread was buttered. If it wasn't for the charity of the big guys in power, you wouldn't be in a position to teach literature to trustees.
How is Dr. Kentwood doing right now, by the way? Has he solved the mystery of who put 6 bullets in Dr. Kentwood?
This project is to immortalize his work. And at the end of it, I'll bring his killers to justice.
While you try to do that, I'll keep making a difference in young people's lives.
Whatever the hell you do to waste your time, I'll be here for episode 2 of Kentwood.